The Moose Jaw Warriors with two significant moves on Thursday, the day before the WHL trade deadline, and talking to General Manager Alan Millar. We'll talk first about the one with the Kamloops Blazers as you acquire 18-year-old forward Martin Lang in exchange for 19-year-old defenseman Libor Zabransky. With regards to Lang, Alan, why identify him and how does he make your team better?
Well, Lang's a player that we know very well. He's a player that played at the Hlinka Gretzky when I managed Canada's team in 2018 in Edmonton. He's also a player that played in the Under-18 World Championships in Sweden last year when I was with Canada as well, and he's a second-year player in the league. Was the 14th overall pick in the import draft to Kamloops. So, he's a guy that can skate. He's got good skill. He brings some offense to our hockey club. He's a right shot, and when you look at the move that I'm sure we'll talk about here with Victoria, these two deals had to go hand in hand when you look at the pieces and how they slot into our team, not only this year, but in the future. And we're real excited to add Lang. I think we gain a year. We get a defenseman in the deal with Victoria that slides into the lineup in Zabransky's place. Libor was a good player for us. I thank him for his time with our hockey club. Really proud of him in terms of captaining the Czech team, and a special opportunity for him. But the reality with Libor was he was going to play for us for another 2 months and move on to pro, and this gives us an opportunity to add a younger player, and we feel is going to be a real good player for us this year and next.
You mentioned the other move with the Victoria Royals. Just focusing on the players right now, not necessarily the picks. The Warriors acquiring goaltender Gould, Logan Doust, and Nolan Jones. All three of those individuals are 18 years old in exchange for 18-year-old Braden Tracy and 19-year-old goaltender Adam Ivanov. With the Warriors coming, or the players coming to Moose Jaw, first off, we'll start in net. Gould seems like a very accomplished goaltender.
Well, Brock is a highly touted young goaltender at this time. He's 6'5", 201 pounds. He's a big, athletic goaltender that's got lots and lots of potential and upside. He's one of only 4 goaltenders in the Canadian Hockey League named to next week's NHL CHL Prospects game in Hamilton. So for us, it puts 2 players in that game, with Damon Hunt, considering the injury, he won't be able to participate, but he was named to the game. And I think Brock Gould comes in here, and him in Boston, 2 good 18-year-old goaltenders, really solidifies our goaltending now and in the future. And I think Brock's an exciting young player to add to our organization.
You mentioned earlier the defenseman coming over. That's Nolan Jones, and it's extra exciting because he's from Moose Jaw, and he's a player that I'm sure the team is familiar with, as he not only played AAA here, but also started in the Western Hockey League with the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Yeah, I think Nolan is a guy we know real well. We didn't have a second-round pick in that draft, and Lethbridge scooped him up, but we really liked him. He's a Moose Jaw kid. He played for the AAA team here. I was really impressed with him last year in Lethbridge. I thought he took a real good step, and then was part of a true hockey deal in the summer, forward for defenseman. And I like his tools, but I really like his competitiveness. He plays hard, and again, he goes into our lineup. Take Zabransky out at 19. You bring Jones in, and I like Jones's upside, and at the same time he's 18, and I think he'll be a real good fit here.
With Logan Doust, again, 18 years old, maybe talk to us about what he's like on the ice, and with him and Lang, does it add depth into this Warriors roster, not only for this year, but as you look to next year as well?
No, depth is real important, as we found out here with. Whether it's been some of the injuries we've had or things not working out with players, depth has been a challenge. I like the fact that a lot of our AP players have gotten opportunities and done real well. An example last night, I thought Atlee Calvert and Max Wanner were impressive as two young guys playing against a real good Edmonton team. But for me, Logan Doust is a guy that I think is a little bit underrated, just because the numbers aren't huge, but at the same time, trusting, responsible, solid, a good two-way guy, real good on draws, penalty kill, and again, 18 years old, so we have years with him, and again, I think real happy to add him as part of this, because you need those types of guys in your lineup, and I think he'll be a real good fit.
Talking with Warriors general manager, again, two big trades earlier today, one with Victoria, the other with the Kamloops Blazers. We had talked about Libor Zabransky going to Kamloops. Let's talk about the other two individuals going to Victoria, that being Braden Tracy and Adam Ivanov. Tough trades. I mean, they grew up, Moose Jaw Warriors, big parts of this organization, hard pieces to move for you, Alan?
Yeah, you know what, it's a tough day, but a rebuild is tough, and losing's tough, and I understand that, but what comes with a rebuild and what comes with the challenges we've had is difficult decisions, and we need to build and develop and get this team to a point where we get back to contending status, and that's looking a year or two down the road, and we want to take a good step next year, and I think we will, especially after today and the development of our young players. But so it certainly is tough when you're in this situation, James. But first off, I can't say enough about Adam Ivanov. Quality young man. Really appreciate Adam as a person and everything that he's done for our organization, the community, the charitable stuff he's done. Great family. I hope that Adam understands the tough decision we had to make, and he's excited about playing in BC and closer to home, and he's a guy that's going to be, whatever he decides to do on or off the ice, he's going to be a real successful young man, and we wish him all the best with the Royals. And Braden, again, I look back to where we were at with Braden at 15, and how he grew up and how he matured in the last 3 years, and developed into the player that he is, and the opportunity with Anaheim and signing an NHL contract, and that's part of the tough decision. Is Braden's gonna compete for a spot in Anaheim next year. This eliminates any risk for us that he may play in the NHL, and he's a player that after that will be playing pro in the NHL or the American Hockey League, and what we're trying to do here is in all likelihood beyond his time, and this seemed to be the time with the competitiveness in the league, particularly the Central Division, the BC Division, the US Division, Kelowna hosting the Memorial Cup. This seemed to be the time where I thought Braden's value was at its highest, and that's why it's a bit of an anomaly in terms of trading an 18-year-old in that situation, but that also reflects back or relates back to where we are as a team. And we felt that when we got to this point with Victoria, and based on the players that we got, their age, their upside, how they fit in our depth chart, plus the draft picks, that it was right to move a quality player like Braden, and he's another guy that we thank and wish him all the best.
Again, talking with Warriors general manager Alan Millar, two significant trades for the Warriors. We're talking about all the players involved. Let's talk about the picks, because these are significant for the Warriors. From the Victoria Royals, you get a third in 2020, you get a first in 21, which is originally owned by Saskatoon, you get a second in 22 owned by Victoria, a fourth in 22 owned by Victoria, and then you flip to the Royals a fourth in 20, which was originally owned by Red Deer, and then a fifth in 23, which is the Warriors. With the acquisition of the picks coming here, those are significant picks, not only to be able to draft, but as you look further down the road, those picks could also be considered assets as well to improve this team, years from now, could they not?
Well, absolutely. I think that you have to draft well, and you have to develop your players, and and you look over the course of the years that we were successful, we had all 4 or 5 of our first round picks in our lineup, from Howden to Point to Wu to Brook and so on, and every deal, when you're looking to improve your team, every deal includes, for the most part, depending on the return, significant picks. So for us, the bottom line really for us, there's some picks that flip back and forth, but we bank a 1, 2, and a 3 here. The 1 in particular is important because it's in 2021, and that was the year that we didn't have a first-round pick that we traded in the Clegg deal. And then the other trades just give us depth. You look at these picks along with the additional second that we acquired in the Wu deal, the additional third that we acquired in the Joseph deal, has given us, for the most part, all our top picks back, and a number of years where we have multiple picks, and will give us lots of options to draft well and/or improve our team down the road.
As we wind down, Alan, I'd like you to maybe describe, first off, how hard it is to complete trades like this. I know some people think trades are easy, but they're not. I mean, maybe just describe how hard they are, to complete, and how hard they are, when you're dealing with young guys, because it is tough for some of these players to go through a move like this.
Yeah, trades aren't easy by any stretch of the imagination. You have 2 managers that are trying to look after the best interests of their hockey club, and there's always some push and pull to put a deal together. And as you mentioned, I got a lot of time for the players that we move today, and when those young players come through your door and you share the news with them, I think in most instances today it's good opportunities for these guys to go to good teams and have a chance to win, but at the same time they're quality young people, and it's always a challenge to move them along, and but you try and one thing we've always tried to do here is consider the players, consider their opportunities, and whether that's to give them a chance to play in the league, or if it makes sense for our club to give them an opportunity to get a fresh start, a better opportunity, a chance to win. We've always considered that when you're dealing with young people, and I think that went part and parcel today with putting the deal together, and how it benefited our hockey club now and in the future.
Congratulations, Alan, on both trades. I know the WHL trade deadline is on Friday, but good luck down there. Good luck in the back half of the season. Good luck coming up in the future.
Yeah, and I just the one thing I'd like to just say at the end is I'd just like to acknowledge our fans, and understand that there's been some tough nights, and I understand that there can be some frustration, but we're going to get better here. It's going to be a bump in the road, and we do have some good things to look forward to. I believe the organization and the leadership of Jason Ripplinger and our scouting staff have listed and drafted well. I think there's been lots of excitement in terms of some of the young players that you've seen come through here, Furcus and Matejchuk and Calvert, Hoekstra, and Wanner, and so on and so on. And we'll right the ship here, and I hope our fans will be patient, and I can't thank them enough for their support through a tough season.